A noted scientist refutes last week's story on plastic food packaging. The Keebler elves are cooking up Listeria bacterium in Georgia. Is goat meat coming to your dinner table soon? And this week's numbers from the USDA. It's Food News Friday. I'm Chef Todd Moore. My mission is empowering people to cook without recipes. They experience the freedom to cook what they want, how they want it, the confidence to take control and try new things, the health benefits of fresh, wholesome foods, and the family-strengthening bonds of dinner time together, as well as the money they save by eating well. Live without rules, cook without recipes. It's a no-recipe lifestyle. The BPA ban is not based on science, says a scientist who chairs the UK's Independent Committee on Toxicity. This is in response to the European Commission's move to ban the import of baby bottles and food containers using BPA, as Food News Friday reported here last week. Professor David Coggins said that the ban on BPA in baby feed bottles is not based on scientific evidence of harm or even on a strong suspicion that it could be harmful. He has rejected calls to ban its use in food packaging. The danger of over-precautionary advice to consumers, he says, is that it distracts attention from the more important factors, such as microbial contamination of food. Many large food manufacturers continue to use BPA in can linings, and the Coca-Cola Company recently upset some shareholders by announcing that there was insufficient evidence to stop using the chemical in their epoxy can liners. Ben Bulkley reports on foodqualitynews.com. Also from Food Quality News, Rory Harrington reports that the Kellogg Company has been censured by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration after traces of Listeria were found littered throughout its cookie plant in Georgia. In a warning letter to the food giant, federal authorities outlined a list of serious violations following the inspection of the Augusta, Georgia site in February of 2011. Listeria was found at 15 separate locations in the facility, with almost half found on food contact surfaces such as conveyor belts. Kellogg makes a variety of Keebler and Famous Amos cookies at the plant. Read what the elves had to say at foodqualitynews.com. Got goat? Goat meat is already very popular around the world, and the Washington Post claims that goat meat makes up almost 70% of the red meat eaten globally. And its popularity could increase in the U.S. because of the convergence of several things: renewed interest in grass-fed animals, the openings of new butcher shops or the revitalization of old, and the increasing numbers of U.S. residents from Latin America and South Asia. Well, with a bit of education and experimentation by farmers, butchers, chefs, and home cooks, this affordable animal could become a key part of a return to meat raised on pastures. Although goats make up a tiny fraction of the U.S. meat market, data from the National Agricultural Statistics Service shows that there are less than 3 million milk and meat goats in the U.S. compared to upwards of 90 million cattle and more than 60 million hogs. So why don't we eat more goat meat here in the U.S.? It's got a very low fat content, it's cheaper and easier to raise than cattle, and it's high in protein. Mark R. gives all the answers at ethicurian.com. Let's go to this week's numbers from the USDA. You know, many people think it's the most difficult part of cooking is knowing when to stop cooking. The USDA can answer that question with, is it done yet? It's a new web page with charts, photos, and videos to show when your food is cooked completely and safely. It's at usda.gov/isitdoneyet. Bad news for those of us in the South. Catfish processing is down 36% from last year. The USDA reports that farm-raised catfish processed during April 2011 totaled 23.6 million pounds round weight. That's down 36% from the year before. The total fresh and frozen average price for 2011 catfish was $3.37. That's up 89 cents from a year ago. So get out your fishing rod, catch your own, because farm-raised catfish are getting much more expensive. The USDA has released its cherry futures report, and the U.S. tart cherry production is forecast at 195 million pounds. This is 46% below the revised 2009 production. Michigan, the largest producing state, expects a crop of 140 million pounds. That's down 47% from the revised 2009 crop. The crop potential was reduced markedly this year by frosts during bloom. And that's the costly effect of a really harsh winter hitting your pocketbook. Per capita vegetable consumption is up in 2010, and the melons outlook is due this week. It's expected that in 2010, per capita consumption of all vegetables, melons, potatoes, sweet potatoes, and mushrooms rose slightly to 420 pounds per person. The increased domestic use of fresh market vegetables and melons, dry edible beans, and sweet potatoes has outweighed the reduced use of processed vegetables and potatoes. So the USDA is saying we're all eating better. It's good for us. The report is written by Gary Lussier and Lawrence Grazer for the USDA. For food news during the week, follow Chef Todd Moore on Facebook and Twitter, and live a no-recipe lifestyle.